Hello dear friends. Cobra has surprised us again with a message that contradicts the opinions of other contactees, but it is common sense to resolve conflicts peacefully. In my humble opinion, there are good guys and bad guys on both sides, but the media tries to polarize us. The good guys are always the innocent civilian population who suffer the consequences. Opinion piece. Searching for world peace. Surprising statement by Cobra. Pleiadians advise against war. Conflict creates unnecessary suffering. Russians didn't listen to Pleiadians. Dark forces are going crazy. It's very important to find inner peace. Most critical period is until April 24th. Many humankind lacks compassion. Hope in Russia-Ukraine negotiation. Internal peace is needed to promote world peace. International court orders Russia to stop. There are agents on the black nobility on both sides of the conflict. Let's start. Pleiadian advisors to the Russian High Command were and are firmly against military interventions and gave plans to peacefully resolve the Ukraine conflict, but they were not listened to, as just revealed by contactee Cobra in the 2012 Portal of Intelligence Center for the Victory of Light. This war creates much unnecessary suffering for both Ukrainians and Russians, and it must end as soon as possible. Therefore, the Forces of Light ask you to pray and meditate for peace. The Forces of Light can prevent more than 99% of all negative scenarios, but they cannot prevent all of them all the time, especially if the forces of darkness try them again and again. Therefore, it is very unlikely that the current war in Ukraine will escalate much more, but it is not totally impossible. In such turbulent times, it's very important to find inner peace and to develop compassion. Many people lack compassion, as can be seen everywhere, because of the bad state of the world. Definition. On an external level, peace consists of a harmonious relationship between human beings without confrontation or conflict, but on an internal level it is the state of one who is not disturbed by any conflict or unrest, and enjoys deep peace. Such a positive inner state is desired both for oneself and for others, to the point of becoming a purpose or goal in life. To foster world peace requires inner peace. When for a moment the mind is in silent, we can feel a glimmer of peace. Everything lights up for a moment and then goes absolutely dark again. The mind is the darkness, but if it remains silent for a moment, the light of the soul hidden behind it is revealed. Why is it that although there is a deep yearning for peace in the world, wars are fought every day, and why is it that although there are so many people who desire peace in their lives, peace seems to be an impossibility? Peace can become a reality if religious practices and political ideologies are abandoned. The key lies in transformation, external and internal, individual and collective, through meditation. Cleaning. According to Cobra, the toplet bombs are still the main reason why the Forces of Light cannot directly intervene in the situation on the surface of the planet. The Forces of Light are now clearing the quantum and subquantum anomaly on their higher mental plane with the maximum possible speed, and as soon as this is done, they will start clearing the subquantum anomaly on the physical plane, which is the most risky part of the whole operation. The most critical time period is between now and April 24th. Accidentally or not so accidentally, the April 24th deadline coincides with the end of Kalasarpa dosha, a very challenging period in Vedic Jyotish astrology, which ends on April 22. During this time period, a very intense cleansing of the primary anomaly will take place. During the same period, Pluto will be making an exact trine with Sedna, a planetoid signifying the precession cycle of the Platonic year. As its orbital period of 11,390 years is about half of the precession cycle of the equinoxes. Energetically, Sedna is connected to the galactic central sun and its regular precessions, which occur approximately every 12,800 years. Sedna trine Pluto is a very powerful aspect, which harmoniously begins to introduce us to the next galactic superwave that is about to occur in our near future. The end is near. As we approach the end of the cycle, the dark forces are going crazy because they know that their end is near. Because their plan failed, they are now trying to engineer a new world war through conflict. Their plan is to escalate the war into a worldwide conflict by provoking both sides, thus depopulating the surface and rescuing about 1 million of their members in subway bunkers. The same politicians who were promoting the Great Reset are now trying to turn the conflict into a world war. In some circles, their plan is known by the code name Doom 33. In other circles, it is known as Sira Plan or Plan Sira. The families of the black nobility know about the upcoming galactic pulse and are worshipping the galactic central sun as the Black Sun. They would like to activate the galactic pulse as part of their end-time prophecies, with the nuclear war ekpyrosis, ordo apkao, or order in chaos. Ekpyrosis, meaning conflagration in Greek, is a Stoic belief in the periodic destruction of the cosmos by a great conflagration every great year. After that, the cosmos recreates itself only to be destroyed again at the end of the new cycle. This form of catastrophe is the opposite of a flood, or the destruction of the earth by water. According to this belief, the destruction of the universe was in the form of fire to cleanse the cosmos, to help create a pure universe. Subsequently, everything would be rebuilt in exactly the same way in every detail before the fire. After such a long time, the process by fire would be repeated over and over again. This cleansing of the universe would be infinite. Black Sun. There are also some black nobility agents at the highest levels of the Russian military, and they have code-named the Russian invasion of Ukraine as Sira Operation. All these people were pressuring Putin to invade Ukraine, when at the same time it was being attacked with directed energy weapons to weaken its resistance to Zeta plan. When the Russian military received information about Ukrainian plans to attack Donbass in March 2022, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. On the Ukrainian side, Zeta plan is being promoted through the top-secret Zeta group, which was formed by families of the black nobility during World War II in Germany. And you can see Ukrainian soldiers with the black sun symbol. Economy. First, Charlie Watt has said, in quotes, "This week, watch out for global financial collapse and the Queen is no longer with us." Second, Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Poland, Iran, Japan, Iraq and Venezuela are suspected of switching to their own gold and asset-backed currencies. Only it has not yet been announced. Third, the Hong Kong market fell 5.72%. The emotional index was 17, which means that there was extreme fear of a market collapse very soon. Fourth, the Ukraine crisis may reshape the role of central bank in the digital currency. Fifth, Europe could fall into recession if Russia cuts off its gas supply. Sixth, hikes of 4% in Europe in the face of Russia and Ukraine's neutrality plan. Seventh, restaurant and leisure groups warn that war in Ukraine will increase costs. Eighth, energy traders call for emergency central bank intervention. They warn that healthy businesses could run out of cash as the war causes commodity problems. 9. Latin American central banks remain more hawkish than the Fed. 10. India will buy Russian oil. It has become a bargain it can't pass up. 11. India wants to take advantage of the gap in the wheat export market. It is implementing measures to help the country become a major exporter of high-quality wheat as importers struggle to obtain supplies amid the conflict. 12. China is making an effort to stabilize its battered financial markets and pledges to ease regulatory repression, support real estate and technology companies, and stimulate the economy. 13. Most people in Afghanistan and Yemen face extreme poverty and hunger. Consequences. First, the war in Ukraine has already caused unprecedented disruption to supply chains, exacerbating fuel shortages and inducing chronic levels of inflation. Second, the economic consequences of the war would lead to a drastic reduction in the global labor force. Third, the food shortages created by the war would provide a major impetus for the synthetic biology industry that would transform the agricultural sector and encourage the adoption of a plant-based, lab-grown alternatives on a global scale. Fourth, Russia's exclusion from the SWIFT system portends a financial reset. 5. This war would mark an important turning point in the globalist aspiration for new international rules-based order anchored in Eurasia. 6. Europe is directly in the firing line once a hybrid war between NATO and the Sino-Russian axis is underway. 7. The economic implications of this crisis would be so significant that governments and the public sector would require a major injection of private capital to meet the funding shortfall. Rumors of war. First, International Court Justice in The Hague orders Russia to halt offensive. It demanded Wednesday that Russia, by 13 votes to 2, immediately suspend military operations in Ukraine. Second, Russia and Ukraine have made progress on several negotiation points, but this hope of agreement does not prevent the Russian offensive from continuing. Third, Russia-Ukraine hope for breakthrough in peace talks. New compromise talks by both Moscow and Kiev on a status for Ukraine outside NATO raised hopes Wednesday of a possible breakthrough after 3 weeks of war. Fourth, it is said that the conflict in Ukraine is closed, but they don't report in the news. 5. Millions of Ukrainians wait in bunkers for the end of the war. 6. Armenia has become a refuge for Russian citizens. 7. Kiev was offered not to engage in combat withdraw its forces from Donbass, but didn't want to do so according to Putin. 8. Zelensky calls for fighter jets and no-flying zone. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed members of the US Congress on Wednesday to call again for NATO to impose a no-fly zone over his country and provide fighter jets. 9. US to transfer anti-aircraft missile systems to Ukraine. 10. More than 20,000 volunteers want to fight on the Donbass side. 11. Confessions of a volunteer who left Ukraine and came home. They are sending untrained guys to the front with little ammo and bad AK rifles, and they are going down. 12. Military investigators believe Putin will take all of Ukraine. 15 Russian warships are headed for Odessa, with orders to gain control of Odessa and the city of Nikolaev. 13. What do the letters used by the Russian military in Ukraine stand for? The letter Zeta stands for the Russian word Zapat, which means west and identifies the machinery of the units of the West Military District of Russia. The same happens with the letter V, which corresponds to the Russian word Vostok, east in English, and denotes the Eastern Military District. Spain and America. First, Spain recommends limiting outdoor activity due to the concentration of Saharan dust. Second, Pedro Sánchez promises an increase in military spending that his partners do not support. Third, the Spanish government immobilizes Sergei Chemezov's superjet in Barcelona. Fourth, the Bank of Spain warns of a sharp fall in GDP if the war worsens. 5. France is ready to address the autonomy of Corsica to put an end to the unrest. 6. Mexico's Reading Outreach Initiative refuses to censor Russian writers. 7. Cuba is confident of achieving its goal of welcoming some 2.5 million tourists by 2022. 8. Bolivia and Chile face off again at the International Court of Justice in The Hague. Jurists from both nations will have to argue where the waters of the Silala, which emerge on the Bolivian side of the border, are diverted by Chilean canals, or, as Chile says, it is an international river whose resources are shared. 9. An earthquake shakes the northeast coast of Japan and knocks out power in parts of Tokyo. 10. Two powerful earthquakes of magnitude 7.3 and 6.4 off the coast of Fukushima in northern Japan. A tsunami warning is issued. Strange. First, Benjamin Fulford believes that Russians and Chinese have shared information about biological weapons labs with intelligence services around the world. Second, a Navy engineer tried to sell nuclear submarine secrets. Jonathan Toebe reportedly chose Brazil because it was not a US adversary and is a rich enough country to pay for classified information. Third, special forces in Russian-controlled Ukrainian space arc. According to Dr. Michael Sala, the Russian military has seized an ovoid-shaped space arc beneath the Ukrainian desert in the Oleshki Sands, near the city of Kherson. A US Special Forces team was sent to a covert mission to the arc prior to the invasion, but the Russians found the equipment and got out of Ukraine safely. Fourth, the arc possesses exotic plant life, and the Russian military also seeks to control another smaller space arc located near the city of Kiev. Russia is said to already have a space arc on its own territory that possesses exotic technology. but Russia denies US access to space acts under its control in order to gain geopolitical concessions. 5. Another space arc would be in the center of Brazil, Caldas Novas, and all the space arcs are being activated and forming an integrated network that will ultimately float in the sky in what will amount to a global disclosure event. They say the arcs and the space fleet connected to them represent a benign force and will help humankind enter a new golden age. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.